make sure to just send us only original tracks. So I am going to trust Chris here, who says that this just is supposed to sound like MJ. And yeah, if anyone at the Copyright Strikes Bureau of the Globe is watching, I played the fifth. So Google Drive. Wait a second. Google Drive has to open. Sorry, that was coming through my headphones. This is causing, of course, like a flurry of drama with my browser routing now that SoundCloud is being a jerk. But hopefully it will start working again. And until then, I'm going to try and load Google Drive. I wonder if it's Safari. I hate Safari, but in order to make this work, in order to send Nathaniel really great audio and to get it back and to not have him feedback and all that stuff, I have to send... Okay, there we go. Google Drive is working. I can stop blah blahing now. Nope. Now it's telling me there's a problem and I have to download it. All right. Sorry about that, Chris. I'm going to have to do some funny things. So let me hook up. I am just doing, maybe sometime I should actually just like show my screen and all the like insane amount of patching I'm doing. But here we go. I think we can radio DJ over this with some confidence because I really, really dig this tune, but it is a little bit loopy. So I think we can safely say that we've got the vibe with this. So, ooh. Yeah, so to me, this sounds like an absolutely great instrumental waiting to be top lined, you know? Like this is something I would expect to sort of throw into a writing session. And, you know, as Zacro says, I think the intention is to get vocals over it. I definitely would encourage that because that's the only thing it's missing for me. Like, it's really like fun, it's retro, but it sounds pretty clean as well. So, what are you thinking, Maddie?
On the slap bass. Like, it's a sort of a very hollow sort of sound where it's just sort of scratchy, like, but it needs to be sort of a...
Yeah.
And you know, but compared to the kick, which is the kick's obviously honestly the most modern part of this entire production. It's a very big and EDM-y sort of kick. Um, I think that you could make some more space by toning that down just ever so slightly. And obviously, if even with a vocal sort of focus, having a little bit more breakups, and you could, I mean, even with loops, you can chop them to bits and omit little components and make it a tad glitchy in places, or reverse samples and have them lead into each other. So I mean, there could be a little bit more variety, I think, in the whole thing. And obviously, if you were getting a top line, you'd end up likely optimizing the arrangement further, because there's no guarantee that the vocals themselves would require a track of this length.
Hmm.
But that's all hypothetical, and obviously we can only kind of go based around what this is as it is. So you could resort to just focusing on improving the individual elements, like those orchestral stabs, for example. I want them brought more forward sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And you could actually still implement a pseudo vocal aspect to them, either through adding another layer where it's sort of a choir, or you could end up formant shifting them. You can use a formant filter like serum effects or something along that sort of lines. There's a few other ways of doing it, where you could sort of add them a little bit of a vocal character to the sound in the post processing.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, definitely don't be shy because if you're looking for someone to collab with, there are definitely lots of vocalists that are looking to collab. So definitely get in touch, reach out, and don't be afraid to do that because it's a great start, and it could be such a vibe if you got the right vocalist. And there are plenty of vocalists out there that are dying for beats and are buying these like $20 beats from the internet, and it'd be much better to have a real live collab. So yeah, so crazy. SoundCloud is still giving me 504 error, like gristly, like if you're just can't wait to take a chicken bone, I'm in then. But all right, we got
Sorry.
Chris doing a disco thing. Chris is telling me that this just kind of loops, so I think we can talk over a little bit. Yeah, so Chris is the same guy that brought that Michael Jackson-ish vibe sound, and we had the same feedback, right? It's a super dope idea, really clean mix, perfect for vocals. You just need a vocalist. But the good news for you, Chris, I don't know if you're interested, but if you saw the last episode I just did of Primp My Live, I don't know if you saw it. If you haven't, check it out. I featured this amazingly talented guy named Howard. And Howard is an amazing songwriter and singer, and he like rips it on the piano, and like he does funk, and he plays the sax. Like he's just really cool. And he is a songwriter, and he's totally dying to work with producers. So can I please introduce you? Like please DM me, give me some kind of information, like an email, because I just really like think he sings like he's kind of like Bruno Mars-ish vibe when he sings, so I feel like he would go really well with your stuff. But anyways, I would love to set up this collab because I remember you saying you just like didn't know any vocalists, and I think that your stuff is perfect. Couldn't you see Howard singing on this, Natty?
Yeah, I get what you mean with his sort of low-key, jazzy sort of vibe he has
Yeah.
got going on. The other thing I think would have been nice with if you develop this further would be to see some chord changes in the sounds you've chosen so far. Like having rather than having the same thing every 4 bars, it would be nice to hear some minor changes to build up that tension. It will help carry on the sections even if you're gonna stick to a rigid pattern.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Your stuff is so good, Chris. I really, really enjoy it, and I think it's just like you should, yeah, just pair up with a songwriter, and just you could do some amazing. And as Barrett says, finding some session musicians to get some live instrumentation. I mean, it is nice to have a little bit more live stuff. You can, on Splice and things like that, you can get some little like rhythm guitar loops and like small things that you can sort of keep in the background. Like, so if you absolutely don't know any sessions musicians at all, you can at least get like a semi live kind of feel. Sorry, I like have the hiccups tonight. I'm trying not to hiccup on the stream. So if I'm making a strange face, it's my don't hiccup face. But it's not about your track. But yeah, no, I think you're just like your stuff could totally be like shop to licensing. Like it's just so bang on of the style, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like it's just got that clean idea. And yeah, getting some vocals on it. Rusky was saying falsetto. I could totally see like that thing. So, yeah. All right. Any other words to this, Natty?
No, I can't think of anything better to say. I mean, testing account Chris says, I would love to collaborate with someone, but also I don't know how that would work since I haven't collaborated with anyone. Well, I mean, one, if you let the other person know that this is your first time, then it sets expectations in check.
You're 15? Oh my goodness. Well, Chris, don't be so stressed. I mean, if it's just a vocalist, if that's what I'm, or you just if somebody like Howard who like sings and just plays instruments, literally, here's what you do. You just send them the beat and you just say, "Hey, record me a bunch of stuff on it." And then whenever you have a chance, you work on it. Like you just play
Yeah.
with it.
Go riff
Go
is what the instructions that you need to tell them.
Yeah, it's so important, I think, to collab, and that's kind of why we have this community, and that's why we're starting this channel, and that's why we're doing all this stuff, because collabing is amazing. You learn so much just from working with the person and seeing how they work, and also like trying to navigate, trying to let go of your ideas, trying to take in the other person's ideas, all these things. I mean, I love collaborating. I think one of my favorite collaborations that I actually, I really did, it was pretty hands off, okay? And I think he was also 15. I've still never met him. His name's Slickerus, and he's from Australia, and he's not 15 anymore. I mean, this was like 4 years ago. But just through Discord, we actually made this synthwave track and got it on a synthwave channel, and it's one of my most successful tracks on YouTube. And I've never met him. And the point I'm making is we didn't necessarily like have to sit there at all. He just kind of sent me over. I played some stuff. I sent it back. He asked for a couple other things, and then I came up with a couple more ideas, and it was really fun. And as always, I learned a lot. So do not be afraid. Our next up is from Nathan Van Natty. There's a lot of stuff. Do you want to read this text in character, please?
Okie dokie. The last month or two I've been listening to a lot of old R&B and pop music on my iPod, and it's been mainly a lot of stuff from Timbaland, mainly shock value. I got sick like 2 weeks ago and made this. I'm sick again now, crying emoji. Aw. Hope you feel better soon. I need feedback on mixing and if it fits the style of like old pop music, because that's what I'm going for. I know it's a bit empty, but that's fine because I'm in the process of also looking for someone to rap, sing, I don't know yet. Over it, and then I will add a little more trinkets and doodads in it. Also, don't go too hard because I'm 16 and I will cry.
I got you. I got you.
Don't cry, please don't cry.
I got you.
Heart, herb, derbs.
Also, old pop music, Timbaland. I'm sorry, Isha, but everyone's just aging you tonight.
I love Timbaland. Timbaland is one of my main reasons why I became a producer. I discovered when I was like 12 or 13 that he was the common thread between all the music that was coming out that I liked. So,
Hey, you want to know a fun fact about Timbaland?
fun fact.
A fun fact about Timbaland? He almost never puts hi-hats in his songs. Most of his beats don't have hi-hats in them. Most of his beats get it done with a kick, a snare, and some bongos.
Wow.
And sure, if you're listening to this and you know Timbaland, you're thinking like, oh, what about this one track where he used the hi-hat? Yeah, but name a couple more. It's mostly the bongos. And the reason that he does that is so that you can crank it in your car and the treble doesn't hurt your ears.
Did he say that?
No, he doesn't, but I'm just assuming.
Oh, when you assume. I don't know.
Am I wrong though? Am I wrong?
I don't know.
You can
I'm
turn
not
that
gonna
up in your
challenge
car.
you.
This sounds great.
All right. Well, let's see if he put hi-hats in his Timbaland. Classic, my friend. Classic. I mean,
I mean, great job. I love it. I love the snare in particular. Great choice on that. Fits the beat really well.
oh, look at this. Look at this.
What's that?
That percussion is
Oh,
me
yeah.
slapping on an Arizona can in my backyard.
You see, you've got the right approach. You got the spirit. You know what's going on. I think from a mixing perspective, hi-hats, bring them down a little bit. You also gotta when you're programming in hi-hats, and like I'm not much of a drummer, but I've taken enough drum lessons because I wanted to get better at programming drums. And one thing that I learned very early on is that the velocity that you play on the hi-hats, it's the change in velocity from hit to hit that really gives a rhythm its groove. So instead of just you want you know, you like that's how you push a rhythm forward. That's how you really give it some feel and real groove. I would make your hi-hats do that if I were you. I feel like your kick is missing a little bit of bass. I feel like I wanted the kick to hit me a little bit harder, and your 808 or your sub, whatever it is, was feeling a little bit disconnected from everything else in the track. I felt like I wanted a little more texture out of that.
Yeah, I agree. Actually,
Yeah.
totally. That was the only thing. I could slap a little harder on the
Yeah.
low end, but yeah, that percussion. I love that story. Foley percussion
Yeah.
for the win.
Great.
It gives it
Absolutely great. I wouldn't stress too hard about the rest of the mixing things. There's definitely things that I would change, but like leaving room for the vocals. They're going to have plenty of room. It's going to sound great with some vocals or rapping over it. Track gets a little dense in it, but like, again, once you got vocals on there, your drums are mixed really well. Really, really well. So you're going to figure this one out once you got somebody on it.
Yeah, that snare was
Love that snare.
really, really fire.
Love that snare.
Yeah, nice job. And 16
Great job.
years old.
Great job.
Like,
Great
shock
job.
value came out when he was not only a year old.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Well done. Great job.
All right, we got Visionary